Despite Donald Trump signing that executive order to try to move forward on the Dakota Access Pipeline, there's a group of military veterans that is saying it is not going to happen. We are going to be there to stop it. And we heard now from a number of representatives from the group Veterans Stand, including Anthony Diggs, who said, "We are committed to the people of Standing Rock. We are committed to nonviolence, and we will do everything within our power to ensure that the environment and human life are respected. That pipeline will not get completed, not on our watch." Of course, many military veterans who don't share this position have been all over the internet saying, hey, you know what? Veterans Stand does not stand for our views. And that's absolutely fine, because you know what? You don't need every military veteran to show up to actually prevent the pipeline from going forward. And Diggs added that they're hoping to raise enough money to have funds for a really significant boots on the ground presence. The Secretary of the Army instructed the Army Corps of Engineers to grant Energy Transfer Partners. That's the controversial company in which Donald Trump, we know at one point, had a stake. We were told he no longer does, but of course, no proof has been provided that he has divested himself from that organization. In any case, the U.S. Secretary of the Army has told the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, grant the easement to ETP so that they can get going on the final piece of this pipeline. I really hope it doesn't happen. I am hugely supportive of whoever wants to show up there and prevent this from going forward. We know that before, when the pipeline stalled, the protests were a part of why it stopped, and it set up a major PR challenge. And veterans showing up there every day is going to create a PR problem for the Trump administration.
And I think at the time, everyone knew that it was a temporary win, but the fight was far from over. It's really heartwarming to see veterans serve their country overseas and then come back and continue to do so here.
Absolutely.
And I think they're also uniquely qualified to fight against some of the tactics that the police are using, things like tear gas,
interesting,
water cannons, sound cannons. They're probably the best qualified there.
I didn't consider that. Police increasingly militarized against protesters. So then the actual former military shows up to do the protesting. That is an interesting thing. The saddest background is, of course, that the world is laughing at us. We've got India and China very quickly becoming the leaders on moving away from fossil fuels and cutting emissions and cutting pollution and alternative energy. And we're trying to save fossil fuel jobs with a non-science president who's reflecting the non-science beliefs through his appointments. It's embarrassing. I mean, when I know that some rightists, Trumpians are emboldened when they hear the rest of the world doesn't like what we're doing. They say, well, we're going to do it anyway, and we don't care what the rest of the world thinks. The reality is the rest of the world is laughing because they realize how misguided it is to try to be rescuing coal, for example, in 2017.
And we were on the path to becoming the forerunner when it comes to alternative energy. I mean, the Obama administration, say what you want about them, but they had us on that path, it seemed.
They could have been more aggressive, but they at least set up a trajectory, which 5, 10, 20 years out with different milestones would have made really, really big progress.
And ultimately, they came against these pipelines, not only Dakota Access, but also Keystone.
Absolutely. And I support what these military veterans are doing, and I believe that we need to stop the Dakota Access Pipeline as well as the Keystone XL pipeline, and we're going to keep you abreast of the situation, that's for sure.